So you brought up a subtopic in there that I want to dive into a little bit, NRR, right? Because most companies, and particularly CROs, they have a quota over our head. And so you're held to very short-term accountability. And NRR is driven by net retention of existing clients, not going after new logos, but growing and expanding, upsell, cross-sell existing clients. And I think it was Forrester that came out a couple of years ago with a study that showed that 73% of revenue actually comes from our existing clients.
Absolutely.
It underscores the importance of why you brought up NRR. But I have to just ask you, right? Because most CROs don't focus on NRR, even though you're a chief revenue officer. So revenue should come from the easiest place we get it, right? We
Yeah.
should be chasing down growth that we can scale most efficiently. And it comes from our existing clients, right? But you go into board meetings, and I know everybody right at the beginning, like, how's this quarter going? Well, what's next quarter looking like? The focus is always very short term, but growing our client's business over the long term, I think this goes right back to your point of view. It's not about hyper growth. It's about long-term sustainable growth. That is an enlightened CRO perspective, from my humble opinion, talking to a lot of CROs.
Thank you for saying so. And I think that my perspective comes from the background that generally and typically, and please correct me if I'm wrong here, but I see that most CROs come from directly sales background. So it comes natural to them to focus on sales, new revenue, new logos. I come from initially marketing background, and then I've pivoted slowly towards revenue operations, more business intelligence. And it happened that I naturally became a CRO. So for me, I try to upkeep that balanced point of view because for me, MRR at the end of the day is really connected and composed of various elements, new revenue and revenue coming from existing customers and then potentially in other like subsidies. But I would really go in depth. So for example, I asked on a board meeting, okay, how is next quarter looking like? When are we going to end? Yes, I'm talking about, yes, new revenue, what we have in the pipeline, how is that looking like? But I also make a point to say that, okay, looking into our current customer base, what are the opportunities that we have there for overages, for upsells? What are massive major renewals upcoming? Because if we stop looking at the whole picture, then I don't know what we are doing here as C-levels, I would say.